Um, so a bit about linguistic variation. My whole study is about like how men and women speak Moslawi with like among themselves and with speakers of other dialects. The gender part of the linguistic variation is it's widely studied among other sociolinguistic factors that affect language variation, such as social class and the ethnic group, says Bradford, Atkinson, Brittain, et al. So like the way the men and women talk in general is like the gender is the most widely studied aspect of the sociolinguistic part. So what I'm doing is, and like they found out that one of the consistent findings is that, I'm quoting them, all other things being equal, women use proportionately more standard variants than men for linguistic variables, not undergoing change. This is also found in Trudgell's study on the way men and women from different socio-economical classes in the city of Priden in Norwich, the way they pronounce the ending ing in a verb or in a gerund. So like the more standard one is ing, or the less standard, which is n, pronounced by men, like playing or playing, as women or like the females say it in this dialect or language. So, and he found out that women tend to use the more standard form in all the socioeconomical classes, no matter what they were. So like if it's like the lowest socioeconomical class, then women also use this standard form more than men. A little bit of an introduction of Moslawi. So it's a dialect spoken in the city of Mosul in the north of Iraq. This is the map of Iraq. This is the province of Nineveh, and this is right here is the city of Mosul. There is about 2 million people in the city of Mosul, and of whom 1.5 billion speak Moslawi dialect. The other like 500,000, you can go on. People are like speak different idiolects or registers, little bit different from Moslawi, but it's also like we refer to it generally as Moslawi. Some background, it's also known, Moslawi also known as the North Mesopotamian Iraqi Arabic or North Mesopotamian Arabic. Versteeg, 1997, and Palba said that the 3 dialects of Baghdadi of Arabic were actually the Christian Baghdadi, the Muslim Baghdadi, and then the Jewish Baghdadi. The Bedouin were like the speakers of, the Muslim speakers of Baghdad spoke the Bedouin, which is known as the Gelet. Gelet means like I said. If you go to Baghdad and say Gelet, it means I said. But the Jewish and Christians in Baghdad, they would say, it's not, this is a mistake actually, it's a Qeltu. So they would say Qeltu, not Gelet. For I said, they would say Qeltu. So this is the difference, like like historical linguists who worked on the Mesopotamian Arabic, like the North Mesopotamian Arabic, or like just the Mesopotamian Arabic, the language of Baghdad, or like the Gulf Arabic, or the Najdi Arabic, or like the Hijazi Arabic, or all kind of the Arabic dialects. They just distinguish between these two varieties by the q and g, the Gelet or Qeltu. So the q and g, and like how speakers used it. So the Gelet dialect, especially in Baghdad, retained the in some of the words. So here's like something about the history of this. As I said, like 3 different dialects in Baghdad, Muslims, Jewish, and Christians. When the Mongols in 1285, the Mongols invaded Baghdad, and after the invasion, a lot of destruction happened, and this made the city open to a lot of people who spoke the Bedouin dialects to enter the city of Baghdad, and then they just mingled with the Christians and the Jewish. And then what happened is, from the north of Arabia, people came to Baghdad. From rural areas, speakers of the Bedouin dialects also came to Baghdad. So they were all Muslims. And then they tried to distinguish themselves from because like if you go to the market and you use the, like you're like a speaker of the like original speaker of Baghdadi, you would use the oh, are you a Christian? No, I'm a Muslim, but like I was here before the other guys came. So like it became like a matter of identity. So they just changed the to g, while the Jewish speakers and the Christian speakers just retained the in all of the words that they have. As for the Gelet speakers, the Bedouins, the Bedouins, they just retained the in some of the words that denotes, for example, instruments name, like qalam for pen. They don't say galam. You can see this galam in some of the Saudi dialects maybe, but in Iraq you don't see it a lot. Or the word qal'a for castle, or the word qarar for decision. So they just kept the qa in these words. And this is like a proof also that Versteeg and Palva agrees that this denotes that the qa was the prestigious variety in Baghdad before the invasion and before it became just open to everybody who came there. And also like in the 17th and the 18th century, when like the area was ruled by the Ottomans, they just agreed. They said, well, let these people come here, that's fine. Let them just work as peasants. And their number increased and increased year after year. And then like the Muslim speakers of Baghdad had to change from the to the g, and now like it's all the Gelet dialects. In Mosul, things were different because the Mongols did not arrive, like did not reach Mosul. So like we just kept on speaking this Qeltu dialect. So as I said, the study is like the alternation between the qa and g, like a linguistic variation in Moslawi. So this variation is among males and females. I investigated how women and how men and women alternate between the qa and g when speaking with Moslawi speakers or speakers of other dialects. For example, I recorded my participants speaking with they're Moslawi speakers, of course, speaking with Moslawi speakers, and then recording them speaking with other speakers. And I just, well, this is how the female spoke with the Moslawi or the non-Moslawi, and this is how the male spoke with the Moslawi and the non-Moslawi. So all the participants are native speakers. One of them is here today, not me. And then like a 28-year-old male and 26-year-old female. So I just recorded them speaking to other Moslawis and to non-Moslawis as well. Of course, I recorded the male speaking with Moslawi males and females, and the female speaking with Moslawi females and males, and watch for alternation. Next, I recorded them again, but this time when speaking with speakers of other dialects like the Gelet dialects. What I found is females tend to use the, remember this statement that I said, that females tend to use the standard like more than males, right? We mentioned that when Bradford et al. Said that in their, that's like one of the, most of the findings, that one of the consistent findings that they have. So females wouldn't change the qatuka when speaking with Moslawi males, or when speaking to Moslawi females. Or they also wouldn't change it when they speak with non-Moslawi males or non-Moslawi females. Males, on the other hand, do change the qatuka only when speaking to speakers of the Gelet dialects. So like if I am like a male, like a Moslawi male speaking to like Moslawi male or female, then I would use the qa anyway. But if I'm speaking to a male or female from speakers of the Gelet dialects, I would just change the q to g. One reason is like throughout my whole observation of this is that Moslawi is like a kind of like womanish dialect. I don't know, but it's like, it's kind of soft. I don't know, but this is the why they change. My consultant said, I don't feel that this is why, but maybe because when I speak with other dialects, they wouldn't understand me unless I just do this. So the reason is like why males exactly change this, but not females, is not. I mean, like, I couldn't just find a whole exact reason, but if for example, if we go to Mosul, and then you go to the market, all the merchants, all the shop owners are Moslawi, like originally from Mosul, they speak Moslawi, but they don't use Moslawi with people who come to them and, you know, like asking for something to buy. They just use the g variety. They wouldn't use the Qeltu. So like if they're like when talking, they wouldn't say like Gelet, they would say Gelet. So this is like what I found. So among Moslawi speakers, so the green denotes that they keep the q, and this 1% they change the q to g. The reason, so like if you look at the chart, it's not exactly 100%. Like I put it as 99%, and the reason is because remember when I said after the invasion, so like some of the Baghdadi speakers or like the speakers of the Gelet dialects retained this q phoneme in some of the words. So like if, for example, if a Moslawi male speaking to a Gelet male, he wouldn't change 100%, but he would change the words that they change the g in. Like they say qalam with the q, even if they're like speakers of the Gelet dialects. So like if I'm speaking to a male from Baghdad, I would also say qalam because he says it as qalam. He does not change it, so why would I change it? I'm also like, I'm sounding like him, right? So that's why I just put like it's 99%, they don't change the, and even like among Moslawi speakers, the g phoneme is not that known. We have it in a couple of words, some borrowed words. It's not that famous at all. But yeah, this is why I put like 99%, but I have this 1% of changing the q to g. Also, like, sorry, this is among Moslawi speakers, is sometimes when we recite proverbs or sayings, we have a lot of them from the southern dialects or like the Gelet dialects, so we would also just say it as they say it, that we don't change the g to q, because we took the saying from them, so we don't change it. So this is the 1% in which we use, for example, Gelet. If we just use it in a proverb that we took from them. But in a proverb that is originally from Mosul, we use it as we say it with the q. And this is when like the speakers, Moslawi speakers with speakers of Gelet dialects, what they would do is, so sorry that seems like this one didn't change, but the green is when they change the q to g. Okay, so like a male to female, and then male to male, male to female, female to male, and female to female. So look at the male to male here. So a Moslawi male speaking to a male from the Gelet dialect. Okay, so he would change the q to g, and this 15% here in which he preserved this q phoneme is only because the other speaker also has it in his dialect, in the instruments names like qalam or qattata for sharpener. They wouldn't say qattata in Baghdad or the southern dialects of Iraq. And then for male to female, also like a Moslawi male with a non-Moslawi female, he would change the q to g in 85%, keeping it in only the words that they also keep it, the g dialects. And then for female to male, so here's the look. The females, the Moslawi females, also wouldn't change. They wouldn't change the the q at all. They just keep it. So like if my wife is speaking to her friend who's from Baghdad, she wouldn't use the g at all, even if her friend is using the g all the time. And this is also like, as we said earlier, why I told you to remember this, women tend to use the standard form more than men. So like it's a very simple conclusion, so agree that females always tend to use the standard form more than men. Okay? Yeah.
Is there any questions for Hakam?
Yeah.
When you see standard form, is that the standard form for Baghdad or the standard form?
No, the standard for Moslawi, because I'm working on Moslawi. Any questions? Yes?
What's the standard form
Is the standard form is the Moslawi itself. So as I said, just forget about the standard Arabic. We're not doing the standard Arabic. For the dialect is like this is how we talk. The way we naturally talk, the way we naturally acquire this language, this Moslawi language. So this is how we like the standard Moslawi. The way we say the q, we don't change it to g. This is what I mean by the standard form.
But I mean, do you have a dialect that's unified, for example, a formal dialect for Iraq, for the whole?
Of course, like we have like the formal one is like the standard Arabic, the MSA, the modern standard Arabic, the one that we use in like in education and all of that, and the TV and formal things. But as I said, I wouldn't learn it if I didn't go to school. So like I can say I'm native in Moslawi more than I am native in modern standard Arabic. I studied modern standard Arabic when I was like 7 when I went to school, right? And let's imagine that I didn't go to school, then I wouldn't know how to speak. And like one of the things that says like if you are want to be like considered like as a native speaker of a language, right? You should have a perfect competence and a perfect performance. Like I know like when you learn a language, you can have a perfect competence, but for the performance, what about it? You cannot have a sentence in modern standard Arabic with no mistakes at all, right? Let's say not a sentence, but like a paragraph. If you write a paragraph and you're like an Arabic speaker, you will have some mistakes when you write in standard form, right? Because we have this case marking and distinctions and feminine and masculine and all of that. But if you write something in like your dialects, like let's say Najdi,
No, it's in the south.
like from the south, like south of Saudi Arabia, then you can, if you write in your dialect, I cannot find a mistake, right? Now if I write a paragraph in Moslawi, there's not going to be a mistake because I'm a native speaker with native competence and native performance. But if I write a paragraph in MSA, I'm going to find like you'll find a lot of mistakes in my writing. So that's why like the standard form, like for the whole Arab countries is like MSA, but I'm talking about Moslawi and how people alternate between these two sounds when speaking with other dialects. The reason I didn't put myself in this study as a consultant is I myself do not change the q to g, but I do this on purpose. So like if I include myself, I would just contradict my results. But I do this on purpose. When I speak with the Gelet dialects, I don't change because like I'm kind of proud of my dialects. So like, why would I change? They can change to my variety. I'm not gonna change to their variety. So that's why I do it on purpose. So I didn't put myself as a consultant because I would ruin everything. And I observed my father, my uncles, my cousins, my friends do this all the time, except for me, because I really do it on purpose. Although sometimes I just forget and say Gelet, but it's just because I'm having troubles with the other speaker. So, okay, I'm gonna change because I want to have him understand what I'm saying.
I would say if I would like to resemble how Iraqi persons speak, for example, which dialect would you choose to resemble Iraqi speakers?
Okay, it's like the famous one is the Baghdadi Arabic or the Mesopotamian Arabic. So this is North Mesopotamian Arabic, and it's like part of different dialects. We have the same dialect spoken in the southern city of Turkey, Mardin. They speak the same as us, except for a couple of differences. Also in Aleppo, they speak also the same. And if you go down in to the city of Beji in Iraq, they speak also the same dialect. We have like some other differences, of course, like a lot, not only the qa and ge, we have the ra and gha, like the alveolar liquid with the velar fricative, which is not that known in Arabic because we have the uvular fricative. But we have the velar and the uvular, and this was like also like a problem in the field methods class when we took it, because we have the two of them, and we use the velar fricative when we are replacing it with the ra in some of the words, which there is no reason. We don't know why we do this, but also, of course, this is one of the things that men and women also different when using this language. They would also preserve the ra in all of the words. I wouldn't preserve it. I would say ra and gha, depending on how I acquired the language. Or the affrication of the k. So like we say samak for fish, they say simach. So the k to the ch, the affrication, they underwent affrication. And like the k to ch also as a feminine marker in Baghdadi, we kept all of this. Yes?
I came in a little late, but I know that Iraq, or from what I understand, Iraq is an ancient place, one of the birthplaces of civilization. And in your studies, have you found one of the first? I mean, have you gone back historically and studied the original Iraqi language?
Well, of course, it was like for the Akkadian, and we have a lot of Neo-Aramic languages around around the city of Mosul. So like these are the very old languages, even like among them Semitic languages. But throughout the history, you know, like the Arabic language just came up, and then the Islam just spread all over the place there, and then Arabic, of course, was spoken after the Akkadian and the the Aramic languages. Now we have the Neo-Aramic language like Athuri and Ashuri and all of that, spoken by the Christians. And we also have Armenian, Iraqi Armenian, which is also different from the Armenian spoken in Turkey and in Iran. But also, like as I said, Arabic is the main language after these languages, like after the spread of Islam. And before you came, I was telling them that the dialect, which is like the preserved the qa, which is closer to the standard, because in the standard they don't change the qa to g. So it's just like it was the dialect, the prestigious dialect of Baghdad before the invasion of the Mongols. And the reason, like I wrote down this like in the paper because I just couldn't memorize it. A lot of people actually came to the city of Mosul and took over it. To name a few of them, we have Al-Amawiyin, Al-Hamdaniyin, Al-Buhaymiyin, Bani Aqil, Al-Salajiqa, Al-Atabika, Al-Akhaniyin, Al-Tatar, Al-Taymuriyin, Qara Uwaynli, Aq Uwaynli, Al-Safawiyin, Al-Uthmaniyin, Al-Inglis, which is like English, and now it's ISIS. So a lot of people just took over the city, and throughout all of these periods of time, you know, we just took a lot of things from these different languages, especially the p, the sound p, which, like, you know, you face, this is a problem especially for you when you teach it to Arabic speakers. They don't have the p, they have the b always, Baber, Barka, right? But we have it in Mosul because we took it from Turkey and Persia. So this also affected the way we speak. That's why maybe the way we speak is kind of different from everybody else who speak the modern dialects of Arabic. Any more questions? Yes.
So being that there's differences in the spoken Arabic between, you know, in relation to gender, but you mentioned that women tend to speak the standard more often.
Yeah, I mean the standard of Moslawi, but not the standard Arabic. Because, for example, we have a lot of women in Mosul who didn't go to school, and they don't know modern standard Arabic, but they know that like Moslawi. So what I mean by the standard form of the q phoneme, they don't change it to g. So this is the standard of what I mean by the standard Moslawi, like the Moslawi itself.
So understanding that, in regard to the females of Mosul, how do they get the news from outside of the region where their dialect is all they know? I mean, are they
They
Translated
other
into-
dialects are like also intelligible with Muslawi, but the thing is, it's about one phoneme that may change from Muslawi when speaking. Let's say that you speak Baghdadi and I speak Muslawi, so you always say g instead of q. But as a man, I speak like, even if you're a female from Baghdad, like a female or male. So like if I am a Muslawi male, I would say Gelet. I don't say Qeltu.
But it's spelled the same?
Yeah, like the spelling is the same, but yeah, it's of course the shape of the letter is different. But yeah, this is like how like men change the q to g when speaking with other speakers, but females, they don't change it whether they're speaking with other speakers or with Muslawi speakers also.
How many speakers of Muslim are there currently?
Well, Mosul has 2 million people, but around 1.5 million people speak Muslawi itself. The other 500,000 people speak also Muslawi, but with different registers, different dialects, and especially the people who because we have two parts, the right part and the left part, they just separated by the river. So like the people on the left, the right part, where the Mosul exactly started to exist there. So some of them, they have like their own registers or dialects. Like it was kind of tribal and like family oriented place. So they just kept it. But the other part, which is like the more modern part, we just speak Muslawi and we just speak just like them. We have some differences in vowels, that's all.
So, this particular presentation is with the k and the g sound. But is there any information on whether Moslawi women change when speaking to other women that are not from Mosul?
Well, yeah, they don't change it. They don't change the q to g.
Other sounds?
No, well, even other sounds. As I said, we have the r and r. So they say rah, I say rah. So the r and r. We don't know why we changed this r to r. And when I was investigating this in one of my linguistics classes, I know that in one part of the old city of Mosul, we had a whole neighborhood of Jewish. And Old Hebrew had this r sound before. Now they don't have it in modern Hebrew, but they had it when they were living in Mosul. So that was maybe like a change in progress. So like according to what I found with my professor, maybe it's a change in progress. Maybe like after a couple of years, we will end up saying all the words with r or all of them with r. But we couldn't just, even in the field methods class, one of the students was so eager to find the difference and like the environments of these two phonemes, but he just couldn't. He was like desperate at the end. I just couldn't find it. It's hard, and I don't know why we do it like this. Nobody knows.
So, like from the data, we saw that males, they tend to vary their speech toward different listeners. So, do you think are there variations associated with social status or educational background?
No, it's like even my professor, like one of my professors at the university, he would also use the g, because like in the University of Mosul, we used to have speakers from different parts of Iraq. So if we have somebody as a student from the south, so he would say Gelet. But my professor, who's Moslawi, with me he would say Qeltu, but with him he would say Gelet, and he's a university. Like the social status wouldn't play a role in this one too. And like even for females, whether she is educated or not educated, she wouldn't just change anything. Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you about, do other people from the other different parts of Iraq, understand the people who speak, Mosul dialect
They
easily?
understand like they don't understand some. Like as I said, 80%, and they laugh at us when we speak. They make fun of us. And as I said, that's why maybe the reason why males change it so that nobody's gonna make fun of them and to sound more masculine. And as I said, Muslawi is a kind of like a soft and like womanish dialect, but I wouldn't change it, as I said. Any questions? Well, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.